Are we connected now? Doesn't look like it. Oh, are there multiple going on at the same time? Yep. Am I streaming twice? No, it says no data. Okay, we're back. Man. Today is just full of good signs. It's the wrong day for stream. I had a business trip that I needed to attend to. Outside, there's a parliament of black feathers. There's just buzzards gathering in my backyard. Great signs. This set is, interesting. It looks like there's a lot on the screen, and there technically is, but a lot of it's related. So we're going to start with the sneak peek promo card for Shadow of Infinity, then the booster set itself, the Duelist Pack Special Edition cards, then the first structure deck. It's a weird one. It's the Jaden Elemental Hero one. Then the promo cards from the Shadow of Infinity Special Edition set, followed by Tournament Pack 8, then the Duelist League 10 promo, and then finally ending up with another Shonen Jump tournament prize card. So, a lot going on. But half the list is Shadow of Infinity or, special edition cards. And let's start off with our first promo. Okay. Ancient Lamp. Wind attribute, level 3, spellcaster effect. During the main phase, you can special summon La Jin, the Mystic Genie of the Lamp, from your hand. Interesting. This card must be face up onto the field and to activate and resolve this effect. Before damage calculation, if this card is being attacked by an opponent's monster and was face down at the start of the damage step, you can target one monster your opponent controls except the attacking monster. The attacking monster attacks it instead, and you proceed to damage calculation. Woo! 900 attack, 1400 defense. The effect is interesting. If you've seen Magical Arm Shield, it's pretty similar to that card. Roulette Spider has an effect that's similar to this too. It sort of reminds me of Reflect Bounder, and I think that's pretty much about the same time, or about the same rating I'm going to give it. Patrician of Darkness support. Maybe? That's a weird way of thinking about it. Ancient Lamp, I've seen in the side deck of one tournament topping deck one time. I don't think that puts it into the meta tier for the same reason that Reflect Bounder, wasn't a great card. It was just popular. This is like a corner case version of that. So I think we're going to put in good on release because at least someone believed in it. Hi, Common. Next up, I actually really like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Website alternate art for Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. Maybe it's just me. I think the card artwork doesn't have enough black in it, and I like the dark contrast a little bit better. But what does Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames do? Fire attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Pyro effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up traps you control to the graveyard. This card gains 1000 attack for each continuous trap in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can target one set spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy that target. Neither player can activate spell or traps in response to this effect's activation. 0 attack, 0 defense. And I think even with the new support, the sacred beasts are severely lacking. For one thing, and maybe it's just me, but Anteater eating ant is in this set, and arguably does what Uriah does better. You gotta set up 3 continuous traps, which is already difficult. You do end up coming out with 3,000 attack, but there's no inherent protection. You do get to pop cards. Popping cards is always good. And you get a Night Beam type effect on top of that. It's not just a Mystical Space Typhoon. You know, pseudo spell speed 4, your opponent can't respond to it. I doubt any of the Sacred Beasts had any relevance save for some joke decks running Haman and Crystal Beasts. I agree. I think it's just too much of an investment. And what are you going to do? What traps are you even running to bring out Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames? I guess you could get rid of your own floodgates. Maybe trap monsters? I don't know. Well, at least they're better than the Egyptian gods. No, they are not. The Egyptian god cards are actually really strong. Cool card for a continuous trap monster deck that won't exist for another decade. We have embodiment of Apophis. We got the first trap monster. But the Egyptian god cards are actually really strong. Slifer's a floodgate, Obelisk is unkillable, and Ra is there for cheese. Be right back. Running Uriah in my aggro star deck. Kuchito 08. Delightful. I think the card's cool, though. I like that it exists, but it's not Slifer, if that makes sense. Next up, Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. Light attribute, level 8, Thunder effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up continuous spells you control to the graveyard. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. While this card is in face-up defense position, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense. It's very weird that this card has Lightning Rod. Interesting. So yeah, Uriah can be used with floodgates if you want to, I guess. It is really sad that up until 3 years ago, this was Crystal Beast's boss monster. He is a lightning rod, hence why he's of Striking Thunder. Okay, I understand. He's got a Ring of Magnetism effect. And it's a little bit weird. Why are you putting him in defense position? I guess the effect is a little bit positive, that you are doing a little bit of burn damage on top of destroying monsters, but I would much prefer popping cards, to tell the truth. You have a lot more initiative with Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, though. You can bring it out significantly faster because you don't have to wait a turn for your traps. And I think that that's a big upside. Do we put him in Gimmick? I think we put him in Gimmick. I do want to say that Lighten the Load has some actual synergy with this card because it's such a high level monster, and Lighten the Load continuous spell. He might have been thought of as too easy to summon with that stat line to give a better effect, to be honest. Well, easier by comparison. Yeah. It's still all in is the problem. Now for the cover card. Do we have an acceptable and a different archetype category? Not yet. It's weird that the sacred beasts are sort of an archetype. I think there needs to be a different word for loosely connected monsters that don't synergize terribly well. You've seen people play Raviel. Interesting. In what? Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. Dark attribute, level 10, fiend effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by tributing 3 fiend monsters. Each time your opponent normal summons a monster, special summon 1 phantasm token. Fiend, dark, level 1, 1000 attack, 1000 defense. But it cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you contribute 1 monster. This card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. 4000 attack, 4000 defense. I think this card has gotten significantly easier to summon over time. A series of cards instead of being called an archetype. I sort of want to use the word theme. I think series makes the most sense, though. There's a whole bunch of them where the cards are related, but not in the... When you think archetype, it is name and they all share a part of the name. Raviel was the most playable of these by far, thanks to Fiend Slop support. It was the best thing generic Fiend/Dark decks could do prior to the end of GX, even if it was a very win more. Okay. It was when the new Sacred Beast support just came out, I saw a lot of Raviel being played. Interesting. Card cousins. I like that. I think the payoff's just not there. It sort of feels like Ultimate Obedient Fiend, where you're putting all your resources into one thing. Granted, it is so much easier to get 3 Fiends on the field, and keep in mind this doesn't take up your normal summons, so special summoning 3 Fiends is not hard at all. Token generation's good, but it's slow, and during the opponent's turn, this is a big attack point, big boss monster. I think we'll just put it next to Haman. I will be persuaded, I know that. So we'll probably come back to Raviel. Next up, Elemental Hero Neo Bubble Man. Water attribute, level 4, warrior, effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by sending an Elemental Hero Bubble Man you control and Metamorphosis in your hand to the graveyard. This card's name is treated as Elemental Hero Bubble Man while it's face up on the field. Destroy an opponent's monster that battles this card at the end of the damage step. 800 attack, 1200 defense. This card is literally unplayable for the majority of the game because Metamorphosis gets banned, and then you can't bring out Neo Bubble Man for, I want to say, 10 years? Maybe a little bit longer before we get a wild monster appears, and by that time it's not very good. I think the effect is okay, but this is a giant hoop to try to get a Bullblader or DD Warrior Lady or DD Warrior, DD Assailant. You get the picture. It's not a great effect. I think the card being literally unplayable is funny, though. I don't even know why Jaden's running this. If you have Metamorphosis, at this point, just run a DD card, yeah. You could use Metamorphosis for something better. I agree. Arguably, Metamorphosis to bring out, like, Dark Flare Dragon? It might be level 4. I don't know. I'll think about it. But Metamorphosis in general is a fantastic, fun card that is not healthy for the game, unfortunately. So this card, by extension, gets really bad. Next up, Hero Kid. Earth attribute level 2 warrior effect. When this card is special summoned, you can special summon any number of Hero Kids from your deck. I don't think any of the level 4s have effects yet in the fusion pool at this point, Milo. 300 attack, 600 defense. I think Hero Kid reads way better than you should think it does. For one thing, this card can miss the timing. So if something else is happening at the same time that this card is special summoned, you can miss the timing. I'm not sure how often that's going to occur. Hero Kid was not good until Lynx came out. I remember this spiking a lot of early Lynx. Interesting. I'm just wondering where you put that. Do you put it in Gimmick? It is free extension, but then you gotta summon out the Hero Kid. Is this... Is Gimmick fair? Like, I can definitely see an application for it. It isn't a proper hero monster. That was one of my questions. It would have made it playable, but still. Man, if you could get this card out with a hero lives directly from the deck, that'd be nuts. Gimmick might be too kind. Okay. I could see a little bit of potential. I don't know. Filler, maybe? We'll come back to it. Bad. Ooh, bad. Okay. Next up, Cyber Barrier Dragon. Light attribute, level 6, machine effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except with attack reflector unit. Once per turn, while this card is in attack position, your opponent's next attack is negated. 800 attack, 2800 defense. That is really low attack. I get that you get to cancel out one of their attacks, but why would you put this guy in attack position when he's got so much defense? One of the most baffling bad cards designed in GX. I think it's just very bad. Arguably, you want to get Cyber Dragon out since it's got so many more attack points. I don't know. I don't see any application, and the effect is just bafflingly weird. Instead of running Cyber Barrier Dragon, could be running Cyber Dragon and like Wabaku and not have this terrible dead draw. At least Laser Dragon has a slight benefit despite its cost. Yeah, Laser Dragon's at least interesting. Very bad? I think very bad's fair. Next up, Cyber Laser Dragon. This is weird. Why is it not the same level? Light attribute, level 7. Machine effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except with Photon Generator unit. Once per turn, you can destroy one monster with attack or defense equal to or higher than the attack of this card. 2400 attack, 1800 defense. I think you'd much prefer to get the stat lineup from Cyber Barrier Dragon with this card. 2400 attack is sort of up there, where it's more difficult to actually pop things. I know it's equal to, so I guess you could pop like Monarchs are the big thing running around. It's once per turn and doesn't cost you much. I can see a little bit more potential for this one. It feels pointless. I don't like how this guy is a boat anchor in hand. I don't like cards that are just total bricks when drawn. But we'll think about it a little bit more when we get to Photon Generator Unit. Next up, Ancient Gear. Ancient Gear what? No, just Ancient Gear. This is probably the smallest, like, archetype possible, or archetype name inclusion possible. It's the whole archetype name. And I think that's cute. But let's get a little bit deeper. Earth attribute, level 2, machine effect. If you control an Ancient Gear, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. 100 attack, 800 defense. Boy, would this card benefit from just a couple sets more. If this card was, if you control an Ancient Gear monster, you can special summon this card from hand, then it would be a really interesting combo extender. This is the Ancient Gear. Every Ancient Gear is built from this little guy like Lego. I love that. Gear. It can't be. I guess, but it feels like so many better options than Cyber Laser Dragon and Cyber Dragon. I agree. In terms of Ancient Gear, I think you're not using it for its intended purpose. I think in Ancient Gears, if you're using it, it's because you want a machine dupe target, but there's better machine dupes in target. I believe Ancient Gear Box is a machine dupe target. If it could summon off of any Ancient Gear monster, it would be a great extender worth considering today in Archetype. I agree. But right now it's, I don't know, even with Magnet Circle level 2, I don't think it's strong enough. I don't think it's even acceptable in Archetype. Great start to Shadow of Infinity. Most cards shown are not good. Lol. Yep. We'll change that right now with Ancient Gear Cannon. Earth attribute, level 2, machine effect. You contribute this card, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. And if you do, neither player can activate trap cards during the battle phase of this turn. 500 attack, 500 defense. It's weird, like sometimes they stick to the equal attack and defense on their Ancient Gear monsters, and sometimes they don't. Like I noticed that Ancient Gear doesn't, for some reason. This card was meta, and it had a very interesting application too. So, the deck that plays this card uses Ancient Gear Cannon and Ancient Gear Soldier to enable Ancient Gear Drill to search out Future Fusion and Overload Fusion. You actually even use this card as intended, where this is your normal summon for the turn, and then you search off of Drill, and then later you might tribute it because you want that degree of protection from your Chimera Tech Overdragon. Because Chimera Tech will wipe your board, and just having a little bit of battle phase protection is actually pretty valuable. Your opponent can't, Magic Cylinder or Wabaku to prevent the OTK. We're about to get into some good cards soon. Yeah. I don't think you run Ancient Gear Cannon in Ancient Gears because it's just so slow. I mean, that's half the problem with Ancient Gears in general is they're so slow. But hey, you could machine dupe this one if you wanted to. I think the effect is pretty useless too. But 500 damage, I don't know. I don't think you can loop this, thankfully. It'd be weird if you could FTK in Ancient Gears. I do like how it had some meta success, though. Time card detected. Oh, no. End of match procedures. If you do 500 points of damage. Yeah, I guess Ancient Gears get another cowboy option. Next up, Proto Cyber Dragon. Light attribute, level 3, machine effect. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while it's on the field. 1100 attack, 600 defense. Do you ever use Proto Cyber Dragon? There are some gimmicks that you can do with it, like Inferno Reckless Summon, because it treats itself as Cyber Dragon, and then you can get more Cyber Dragons out. Great card. I'm wondering what runs it, though. I really wish this card treated itself as Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, too. I think that'd make it significantly better, because then you could use Overload Fusion with it. Proto Cyber Dragon can be a 4th Cyber Dragon option. I feel like it was used in Sidra, was hit to 1. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Cyber Dragon gets limited for quite some time. And if you want to play a Cyber Dragon deck, I guess you do have to play Proto Cyber Dragon. I just want to say that Cyber Dragon's Way saw a lot more play later on. I used to play it all the time in my Cyber Dragon deck common. Okay. We got a special home for that, I guess. Next up, Adhesive Explosive. Wind attribute, level 3, machine effect. Before damage calculation, if this card was attacked by an opponent's monster and was in face down defense position at the start of the damage step, equip this card to the attacking monster. Then, during the opponent's next standby phase, destroy the monster that this card is equipped to. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. Mechanically, this card is really cool. It's like a bomb that attaches itself to the monster, and then, it's a ticking time bomb. It's sort of like Jigen Bakudan, except much better. I just don't know if you have a good application for this. Isn't this just worse than Blastsphere? Yeah, I think... Yeah. I think we're going to put in filler. I like the mechanics, though. Next up, another prototype. Machine King prototype. Earth attribute, level 3, machine effect. This card gains 100 attack and defense for each machine type monster on the field, except this card. 1600 attack, 1500 defense. Bandit Keith Core. Adhesive Explosive. No, we have Blast Sphere at home. I cannot say that. Blast Sphere. That's a hard one. I think Machine King prototype, we're getting a little bit better than Woden, Resident of the Forest. Starting out with 1600 attack, that's pretty decent for a level 3. It doesn't count itself, which is a little bit weird, because the original Machine King does. I think we're just going to put it in bad. Next up, BES Covered Core. Earth attribute, level 7? How are you going to get this thing out? Machine effect, when this card is normal summoned, put 2 counters on it. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card attacks or is attacked at the end of the damage step, toss a coin and call it. If you call it wrong, remove 1 counter. If this card battles without a counter, destroy it at the end of the damage step. 2500 attack, 800 defense. I see the toads in the second row. They're screaming at me. Oh no. Yep, more frog support this set. I think Covered Core is interesting. It's got... I don't think it's good, but I think it's interesting that in the game that this comes from, the core is literally being exposed half the time. And in order to have that, they have the 50% chance of not losing a counter. And that's cool. But man, I am not tributing 2 monsters for this. And bringing it out with Boss Rush does not help. I imagine Prototype was like that because they were worried about it being used in Gravity Bind decks or something. Well, they made Injection Fairy Lily, and that could be used in Gravity Bind decks, but different case, different time. Next up, DD Guide. Slight adjustment. DD Guide. Dark Attribute, level 4, Warrior effect. When this card is normal summoned, give control of it to your opponent. Wow, great start. During each player's end phase, your opponent selects one card from the graveyard of this card's controller and removes it from play. 1400 attack, 1000 defense. This is Disappear, or like Soul Elimination, but slow, and gives your opponent a free monster to tribute or synchro with or link, or there's no restrictions. Mushroom Man, but with extra steps. I love the art on Guide. Oh yeah, art's fantastic. I think Guide and Master, probably some of my favorite DD art. Look at the rainbow. You get like a whole rainbow off of Guide. This is Disappear with extra steps. Just run Soul Release. I agree. Soul Release. Or is it in this set or is it in the next set? I guess it might be in the next set. We actually get DD Crow into the game pretty soon. I wonder if we ever learned who was underneath the robe. Interesting. It's Skull Servant, right? And he's right in front of the DD gate. Oh, yeah. That's where the rainbow's coming from. Crow is Force of the Breaker. Okay, so Force of the Breaker is soon, but I guess it's not going to power creep this card for a little while. I think this is just very bad. You don't want to give your opponent monsters for free unless they really mess with the opponent. And this is such a marginal effect. We have Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer, and Kaiko just really outshines this card. It's got more attack. It's got a more useful effect. It's got a Floodgate effect on top of that. Man, the most use DD Guide got was as a mascot for Duel Links events. Thank you, Milo. It's cool, though. Next up, we got our first of Collect 'em All cards. I don't know why these are in the set. And there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 6 of these, I think. I don't know. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! In general has a bit of a problem with Collect 'em All cards. In Magic, they have special text on cards like Seven Dwarves and Relentless Rats, for instance, where your deck can contain more than the normal amount of those cards, and it makes the strategy more viable. Relentless Rats is great. You can run as many as you want. Seven Dwarves, you can only run up to 7 because there are only 7 dwarves. Persistent Petitioners is another one that ignores the mechanics. I really think that this messes with Harpies in the worst way, where there's just not enough cards that can turn into Harpies because they treat themselves as Harpies all the time rather than just on the field or in the graveyard. At least at this point in the game. Oh great, the chain cards appear here. Not Chain Strike. Not yet, I think. I don't see Chain Strike. We're safe for another set. But I just think that the mechanics of the game are preventing these cards from being more useful. And they're not even balanced well. Chain Thrasher, Wind Attribute, level 4, Warrior effect. This card can attack one additional time during the battle phase for each Chain Thrasher in your graveyard. 1,000 attack, 600 defense. So, I just want to compare it to Hayabusa Knight, which we already have in the game, that can just make a second attack, and it's got the same stat lineup. We also got Mataza the Zapper, and we also got Armed Samurai Ben K, all within the same niche. Hayabusa Knight, also Wind Attribute, if that matters. And you gotta jump through additional hoops. We don't have Foolish Burial. It's real hard to get specific cards into the graveyard at this point still. I think most of the time this is a level 4 monster with 1,000 attack, 600 defense, no effect. And that's sad. He kind of looks like Ichigo Kurosaki did Naruto cosplay. Oh man, I'm never going to be able to unsee that. Next up, Disciple of the Forbidden Spell. Light attribute, level 4, warrior effect. When this card is summoned, declare different... Okay. When this card is summoned, declare different monster card attributes equal to the number of Disciple of the Forbidden Spells in your graveyard. Man, that's hard. If this card attacks a monster that has a declared attribute, destroy that monster with this card's effect without applying damage calculation. 1,700 attack, 800 defense. What does this card actually do? I think when we get into archetypes and when the game gets way more streamlined in terms of what you're actually facing, this card gets a little bit better. It's sort of like a Cataster before Cataster, but also not as good as Cataster. Getting that first copy in the graveyard does give you a pretty decent benefit if you're going up against a one attribute deck. Seems like in the Warrior toolbox as a fringe option. I just think it's just that's relying on getting a card in the graveyard makes it way too hard. It almost feels playable. Oh, if it had a +1 at the number of the attributes you could declare, that would be significantly better. Like Good Goblin Housekeeping isn't the number of Good Goblin Housekeeping in your graveyard, it's the number +1 to make the card a little bit easier. That would be better. That would be significantly better if all of these just counted one addition, if they just incremented it by 1. Pretty nice art. I wish we knew the artist. Oh, is it not Kazuki Takahashi? He didn't draw every single card? You can Foolish Burial it, then Rhoda it. Fair, especially this early in the game. I think it's just bad. It's a little sad, though. I'd like to see this card get retrained a little bit. We get Hunter of Black Feathers, which sort of does the same thing, but we're not there yet. Next up, Kabito Shien. So I wonder if Shien's spy is referring to this Shien. Probably not. Fire attribute, level 4, Pyro effect. This card is unaffected by the effects of trap cards. 1,500 attack, 1,000 defense. Kazuki Takahashi to this very day, draws every single card. I knew it. That's why he signs them all. I think the problem with Kabito Shien is definitely its type and the fact that it gets a direct comparison to Elemental Hero Wildheart and not a favorable one. Because Wildheart is pretty good. Being immune to trap cards is a very decent benefit. But you can also search for Wildheart with Reinforcement of the Army, deck thin a little bit, get out as one of the tools in your toolbox. Kabito Shien Yes, it's searchable because we have Bonfire now, but if Bonfire was existing, you know, I guess 18 years before it did, it'd be significantly better. I think it's just the type's the problem. It's not bad. It's just literally outclassed by another one. Just weaker than Wildheart. Kind of neat card. Too bad we definitely never saw more of this guy. The Prelude to the Sixth Samurai. Pyro Wildheart, yeah. Is he related to the Sixth Samurai, or is he related to, like, Kagemusha of the Blue Flame? He definitely looks like a Sixth Samurai card, I'll give you that. Next up, Parasitic Tiki. Earth Attribute, level 1, Insect Effect. The attack and defense of this card are equal to the number of tokens on the field times 500. Question mark attack, question mark defense. How strong can you make this card? Scapegoat gives this card 2,000 attack and defense. Giving your opponent like Ojama Trio would put this card to 3,500 attack and defense. Even with Opti Camouflage Armor, which would make this guy attack directly, even though your opponent would have tokens, 3,500 is just not the break point we need. I don't even think it fits into a gimmick. I think it's just bad. Arguably, maybe you could get something going. You might just be better off running Token Feast Evil at this point. Or Token Thanksgiving. I don't know. I'm underwhelmed by Parasitic Tiki. Very bad for Tiki. Just looked it up. Oh, okay. So Shien is related to Shien. Interesting. I think bad's fair. Next up, gokypon. I do want to apologize because one time, specifically with Killer Needle, I thought they were referring to gokypon when they were referring to Gokibore. Those are not the same cards. They might be related, but this card is significantly worse than Gokibore. Earth Attribute, level 2, Insect Effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add one Insect-type monster with 1,500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. 800 attack, 800 defense. We talked about Scar, Scout of the Dark World, having a similar effect where it adds to your hand, but it made sense in Dark Worlds. It doesn't really make sense with gokypon. There's not a ton of insects that you want to special summon themselves from hand yet. There aren't any insect hand traps in the game at this point. Definitely not that. So what do you actually want in your hand? I just don't think there's anything useful. Just comparing gokypon to its predecessor, Silent Insect, which, you know, also 1,500 or less attack, could special summon it from the deck in either position. I just don't see the use case for it. Honestly, still not terrible for the time with insects slowly gaining critical mass. Yeah, but you just run Silent Insect, or even Flying Kamakari number 1. I just don't see an application. Next up, Silent Insect. Oh, maybe it's not named Silent Insect. What is the name of the searcher? Seen gokypon a shocking amount of times in limited formats, despite him being worse than any given attribute searcher. Interesting. It's not Silent Insect, it's Howling Insect that's the searcher. I got it mixed up. This one's Silent Insect. I wonder if those cards are related. Application is getting material for the big guy this set. You're thinking Howling Insect. Thank you. Silent Insect, on the other hand. Earth attribute, level 2, insect effect. This card is changed to defense position when it's normal or flip summoned. Yay. Negate the effects of all continuous spell and continuous trap cards. 200 attack, 300 defense. Interesting that this card switches itself to defense position. That's significantly better than it could be, leaving a 200 attack monster defenseless. And then shuts off continuous spell and trap effects. Is that good? Slightly. I think it's an interesting tech card. He doesn't beat Skill Drain, does he? I do not think he does. That's a funny situation, though. I just can't see it being useful. It sounds useful. But I think you're just outclassed by Spell Canceller and Jinzo. Feels too specific, I agree. If Skill Drain is on the field first, then no. He would not beat Skill Drain in that case. Okay. Next up, Chainsaw Insect. Earth attribute, level 4, insect effect. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked or was attacked, your opponent draws 1 card. 2400 attack, 0 defense. That's a lot of attack points. I think that this card is actually worse than the Bistro Butcher, though. Because you're not drawing as many cards. Do you give this to your opponent? Maybe. I just think it does not as good a job as the Bistro Butcher in that case. It's a lot of attack. Speaking of Skill Drain, oh yeah, it's great off of Skill Drain. Maybe if you really wanted to, you could run Appropriate. Budget Skill Drain cards. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think we're just not going to fall into the trap. Next up, Antseater Eating Ant. Earth attribute, level 5. Insect effect, cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by sending 2 spell or trap cards you control to the graveyard. I wonder if this counts monsters treating themselves as spell cards. I think it does. You can destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. If you activate this effect, this card cannot attack the turn during this turn. 2000 attack, 500 defense. Very interesting. I think Antseater Eating Ant has some niche applications. There's Statue of the Wicked that you could be running, and then pop Statue of the Wicked and then get the tokens, I think, with Antseater Eating Ant. I'm wondering if this card is a tech option for Inzectors? Possibly. If you can pop your Inzectors to bring out Antseater Eating Ant, and then you can just pop a spell or trap or Synchro/Xyz out with it. Yeah, it sends, not destroys. Oh, you're right, it does send. So you can't even use it with Statue of the Wicked. Thank you. I don't know. I think that this is an interesting option for your quick tribute fodder. I know what's coming in this set. It's not a bad card, though. What's SOI? Shadow of Infinity. It's the name of the set. Althos, Gomez, Franseco. Antseater seems like he'd be good if he just had a little bit higher attack. I can see that. I like this card more than I should, I think. Next up, and believe me, I thought that this card was released ages ago. I thought that Saber Beetle came out the same time that Dark Triceratops came out because they're such similar cards. But no, you gotta wait all this time to get this card. Earth Attribute, level 6, Insect effect. During battle between this attacking card and a defense position monster whose defense is lower than the attack of this card, inflict the difference as battle damage to your opponent. Man, it's doesn't have the piercing battle damage effect yet. 2400 attack, 600 defense. Can you imagine overlaying Antseater and Cyber Dragon? Oh man, that at that point you really want to be running Solar Wind Jammer. I think there's better options than Antseater Eating Ant, but I don't think it's bad. I think this card is extremely mediocre. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could be bringing it out off of a level 5 like Cyber Dragon with Insect Imitation, but I don't think you want to. Next up, Doomdozer. Earth Attribute, level 8, Insect effect. Cannot be normal summon / set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 2 insect monsters from your graveyard. If this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. 2800 attack, 2600 defense. Saber Beetle is bad. I can agree with that. I'd much rather a Monarch. Where do we put Doomdozer? So Doomdozer, very important card. I guess we need advanced ritual art, but Demise is in this set, and very famously, you would advanced ritual art, bring out Demise King of Armageddon, send 2 Insect Knights or Neobugs from your deck to the graveyard, banish them for Doomdozer, Megamorph your Doomdozer, and then attack for game. The big question I have for Doomdozer is, do you play this card as a potential extender in the modern game? It also started seeing play with some ballpark decks, yeah. I think the card's not quite worth seeing play right now, outside of like if you need it as a level 8, either for a Synchro or for an Xyz play, maybe. I guess you could be running it with trade-in. That's not a bad option. I think it's just not quite rising to the point of worth considering today for me. The thing is that insects can already do cold fusion on these days. Cold fusion. Okay, for this one, we're going to have to bring up the most recent version of the card. And this is a spot the difference game right here. What did they even change on Treeborn Frog? Okay, so the original text. Treeborn Frog, water attribute, level 1, aqua effect. If this card is in your graveyard during the standby phase and you control no spell or trap cards, you can special summon it. This effect cannot be activated if you control a face-up Treeborn Frog. 100 attack, 100 defense. Okay, now let's see the post-errata text. Once per turn, during your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard and you do not control Treeborn Frog, you can special summon this card. You must control no spell or traps to activate and resolve this effect. Did you catch it? This is now a once per turn. And this, I think, might be future-proofing. There's a few different cards like Samsara Lotus, Phoenician, Cluster Amaryllis. A few different cards that can special summon themselves over and over again and cause loops. I don't think Treeborn Frog is necessarily in that camp. One interesting thing that you could do with Treeborn Frog is because it's in the standby phase, you could use enemy controller, tribute your Treeborn Frog, and then just bring it straight back and take control of an opponent's monster. But since we've had the errata, the once per turn means that your opponent activating Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment on the summon of your Treeborn Frog is not a meme play. It could have been in the actual right call in the game. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see how Treeborn Frog could possibly be good. What if your opponent is running Macrocosmos? Effect changing errata must be a design mistake. I know, and it's just so sad. Couldn't you chain all 3 in your graveyard at once? I don't think you can. I think you have to chain them one at a time. I think this card prevents itself from that happening because it'd be like multiple game instances one after another. This card was great, but unfortunately, it's got to go. Effect changing errata is so mild. I think Sinister Serpent got off much worse. I'm not saying that Treeborn Frog needed the errata. It's just future-proofing at this point. But it's still sad. Come on, 100 attack defense can't be good. Oh, Yugi, this is not a pathetic card. Oh, like how Immortal Bushi was warded. I'd have to pull up that card for reference. No Immortal Bushi. Okay. Yeah, Immortal Bushi prevents itself from special summoning itself, if you already have a copy. Honestly, one of my all-time favorite cards, and the card's artwork looks so good. It is pretty in the Ultra. I do want to point out, maybe it's not obvious, this card's had a little bit of censorship. They removed the halo, which is sad. I think it looks better with the halo. Okay, we're going to hide the Treeborn Frog and move past it. Oh yeah, we haven't actually mentioned when Treeborn Frog was useful. So Frog Monarchs are going to be a deck. They get a huge power spike when we get Substitute, but Substitute causes other problems. Treeborn Frog means that you contribute summon a Monarch every turn. Or Monarch-like cards. We got the mention of Jinzo, for instance. Part of me thinks that maybe this card's worth considering today, because that effect's not bad. It's just free resources throughout the game, because, face it, you're not running trap cards. You're probably not running continuous spell cards or field spells. You could very easily weave a Treeborn Frog into your combo, but it's more like planning ahead. It's gathering nuts for the winter, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right strategy in this time and age. You want to get all your resources out. You want to go ham and get everything out on the board, and this is more like putting something in the back pocket for later. Game is way too fast for it? Yeah. It's sad that it's a one-term game. I wish it was more. Treeborn Frog's really good in resource-intensive games. A true transcended frog. I agree. Next up, Beiels Frog. Oh man, I'm getting traumatic flash forwards to the Beiels Diabolic Dragon, I guess. Very spooky looking frog. Water attribute, level 3, aqua effect. This card gains 300 attack for each tadpole in your graveyard. 1200 attack, 800 defense. So it doesn't collect itself. It collects tadpoles. We had tadpoles in a previous set. They're not good. Let's see. At the high end, this is a 2,100 attack level 3 monster. I think this card is just outclassed by all your wetlands beaters in your frog deck. Also, most decks that get to their turn 3 or 4 either run spell and traps or need more immediate fuel. I agree. What a riveting card effect. I don't think it's riveting. I think it's underwhelming. If it gained 1,000 attack, I don't know. I don't know if it'd be good. 2,200 attack, level 3. You could normal summon. Get this guy pretty high. I don't know. Next up, Princess Peruku. We also got a Princess... Ooh, why can't I remember your name? Princess Iban, I think. Trial of Princess is an equip card in this set, so we'll get to that in a bit too. Light Attribute, level 4, Spellcaster effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. I am noticing a huge theme in this set. This card cannot be special summoned except with Trial of Princess. During your standby phase, gain 800 points for each monster you control. 2,000 attack, 0 defense. This card's real hard to get out. I'm just gonna put that out there. Trial of Princess is a trial, to tell the truth. So these cards are probably going to end up being bad. She's bad, but I love her design. Oh, do you like the little butler? I like Peruku and Ebon, Magician of Curon. I like them for lore reasons, but not as cards. Cute art, nice lore, bad card, I agree. Fun fact, you can use Peruku as a small world bridge between 2 adventure token monsters. That is fancy. Does a full board make Peruku the strongest single life gain effect? Maybe? But you know what else gives you 4,000 life points? Nutrient Z. I know Nutrient Z is a little harder to use, but that's a trap. Doesn't take up your normal summon. Don't have to go through hoops. In, what is it? Forbidden Memories. It's crazy. Dying Cure Master in Forbidden Memories gives you 5,000 life points. And that's sort of to the point where I think it would be worth considering. Going -1 for 5,000 life points, and then you could, you know, Ancient Leaf or Hope for Escape. You could do a lot of different stuff with that many life points. Let's talk about the other princess, though. Next up, Princess Curon. Dark Attribute, level 4. I do like how they're mirrored. That Peruku's looking to the right and Curon's looking to the left. Spellcaster effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except with Trial of Princess. During your standby phase, inflict 600 damage to your opponent for each monster they control. Oh, interesting. Peruku's monsters you control. And then Curon is monsters they control. I don't think that makes it any better. Maybe they'll get a retrain one day or be better in Rush Duel. That'd be nice. I think the effect is underwhelming. That's not a lot of damage. They have 5 monsters, deals 3,000 damage. But it's during your standby phase, so they got a whole round to react to that. Next up, Memory Crusher. They took away his horns, man. He looks a lot cooler in the Japanese art, I think. Dark Attribute, level 3, Fiend effect. If this card successfully attacks directly, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each card in their extra deck. 1000 attack, 600 defense. It's a tour guide target. If you somehow get this out and they have a board of 4+ monsters your opponent is trolling, I agree. Or you could be activating like Ojama King and Ojama Trio to do something. If it wasn't standby phase, it'd be a decent burn card. Very bad, I agree. Memory Crusher's interesting. If this card just inflicted 1500 points of damage, which is sort of what it reads, it's not that bad. I think it's bad, but not that bad. Artwork's really good, though. I don't know, something about those mandibles and the sideways mouth and the brain texture on the head. I wish this card were better. Next up, Malice Ascendant. Dark Attribute, level 4, Zombie Effect. During your opponent's standby phase, send one card from the top of their deck to the graveyard for each Malice Ascendant in your graveyard. 700 attack, 1000 defense. When you collect them, this card does nothing? Why do they keep making cards that are worse than Needlebug? Okay. With Memory Crusher, I guess you could FTK or you could OTK if they had 80 cards in their extra deck. Yeah. I just think Malice Ascendant doesn't do anything. At least it's during your opponent's standby phase, so you're probably going to get the effect off once, but the card's just useless. Next up, Grass Phantom. Water Attribute, level 3, Plant Effect. This card gains 500 attack for each Grass Phantom in your graveyard. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. So compared to Beiels Frog, this is even worse. It gains more attack, but the ceiling of this card is only 2000 and you need 2 specific cards in your graveyard. I just don't get these cards. Next up, Sand Moth. Earth Attribute, level 4, Rock Effect. When this face-down defense position card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, except by battle, switch the original attack and defense of this card and special summon it. 1000 attack, 2000 defense. I've seen this card, interestingly enough, in a couple meta decks. I just don't know how you use it. I guess you have it set and then it gets hit by a Torrential Tribute or a Dark Hole. I just don't know what's destroying this card in the metagame. Grandmarg can pop it. I do want to point out that this is not a bad effect. It's one of the better cards when we get to the Invincible Fortress structure deck. But I don't think it's good. Still, it did have at least a little bit of meta experimentation. Dune and Sandworm Pupae can become either worms or moths. Interesting. Wouldn't you be mostly popping this with Nobleman, which banishes it? I agree. Next up, Divine Dragon Excelsion. Artwork's great, name is great. That's about all that I have positive to say about this card. Light Attribute, level 5, Dragon Effect. When this card is normal summoned, it gets one of the following effects for each Divine Dragon Excelsion in your graveyard. When this effect resolves, your choice. These effects cannot accumulate. Why not? This card gains 1000 attack. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it can attack once again in a row. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster. I feel like the fact... 1500 attack, 900 defense. I feel like the fact that this is a level 5 makes it so much worse. If this card were level 4 and it got your choice of one of these mediocre effects, I don't think it'd be good. 2500 attack, why aren't you running Summon Skull? If it destroys a monster by battle and then it can attack again once in a row, that's not bad, but I just don't see it as a big benefit. Then the burn effect, it's also not bad. I just think that you're better off using other cards. Ah, the accumulate card. Thought that Sandmoth was a Lost Millennium card, to be honest. It looks like one. Lost Millennium had a lot of rocks in it. I think this card gets the very bad title. I wanted this card to be so good as a kid. Instead, it's Summon Skull that loses to Skill Drain. Oh man, hard countered by Skill Drain. And it's only when it's normal summoned. Conceivably, you could bring this out with Shining Angel, but then you wouldn't get the effect, which is bad. I have this card in real life, and I'm still sad about it. I think this was a foil card in the set. Imagine pulling this, or what was it? Cyber Photon Dragon. Cyber Laser Dragon, that's the name of it. Next up, Ruin, Queen of Oblivion. Light attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8. Fairy ritual effect. You can ritual summon this card with End of the World. When this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack in a row. 2300 attack, 2000 defense. Shockingly low attack points. I know that the Ruin and Demise get precursor monsters and they get evolved forms later. But right now, I want to point out that these cards are sort of retrains of Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning and Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the Ends effects. So this one is referencing Blackluster Soldier's ability to get a second attack during the same battle phase. The big problem is that's not a lot of attack points with 2300. Worse than her husband. I guess they are married since they're king and queen, but like they're king and queen of different things. She's queen of Oblivion. He's king of Armageddon. Is it like two different kingdoms? I really don't know why she has to be so much weaker than Demise. I agree. I just noticed that you see her husband behind her. I think it's actually a different monster. I don't think it's Demise. Maybe it is supposed to be Demised. Her brother eclipsed her in every way. Maybe they are brother and sister, king and queen. I don't know. The royal family confuses me. I like the reference to older cards. I just think you don't hit the good balance point. I also want to point out how the End of the World is such a unique ritual spell for this point in the game. Just getting double the options that you normally do out of a ritual spell is a big improvement in my opinion. When we get to Gishki and Nekroz much, much later, that becomes less of a problem, but we're starting to get small waves with the ritual mechanic. Next up, big boy, Demise, King of Armageddon. Dark attribute, level 8, Fiend ritual effect. You can ritual summon this card with End of the World. You can pay 2,000 life points, destroy all other cards on the field. 2,400 attack, 2,000 defense. Ruin could have had the effect, pay 2,000 life points and send all cards in your opponent's hand to the grave. No, it could not. That is broken. Apparently, the lore, they end the world together, and she shows up first, and then her husband comes up to do the world ending. Huh. I guess that makes sense, that the end of the world artwork is in her background, and then Demise comes in and finishes the job. So this card's life point cost, total upside when you're using Megamorph. I don't think you play it today, but this card was a menace. I can't think of many ritual monsters that hit the FNL list. Oh, it's definitely meta at one point. We'll put it in the top of meta at one point. I don't think you run it today, though. That effect is still okay, but everything resists destruction now or benefits from it. Next up, D3S Frog. Not to be confused with Des Frog. Okay, I'll put those two together. I'll put Demise and Doom together. There you go. D3S Frog. Water attribute. Level 2, 4, 6, 8 for some reason. Aqua fusion effects. Materials are Des Frog, and Des Frog. I sort of love cards that have all the same fusion materials and just looks good. A fusion summon of this card can only be conducted with the above fusion material monsters. This card gains 500 attack for each Treeborn Frog in your graveyard. 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense. It's got Treeborn Frog in the artwork. Why does this card exist? Like, when are you going to have 3 Des Frogs out? I don't know. Dupe Frog, I guess, counts as Des Frog. Yeah, hilarious that this card does less damage than having the 3 frogs on the field. Same thing as Blue Eyes Ultimate, though. This guy hangs out with Moki Moki King. I wonder if Ojama King's there, too. 3DS Frog for when you don't draw the Des Croaking. Oh, I guess this is your plan B. It's not a very good plan B. I just don't understand the counter synergy it has with Treeborn Frog, where your Treeborn Frogs, you know, at least one of them's coming back onto the field. I think the only utility of this is maybe Fusion Conscription, where you could bring a Des Frog directly to your hand with Fusion Conscription. That's not bad, I guess. He does have the protagonist's ace monster stats, though. Oh man, could you imagine? Can you imagine Jaden rolling up with Des Frog as his archetype? That would have been interesting. Next up, Hero Heart. Normal spell, target one face-up elemental hero you control. Have its attack until the end of this turn, but it can attack twice during this turn's battle phase. I don't understand this card. When is this beneficial? There's a card called Double Attack, and I've gone on record saying that Double Attack could have just been a normal spell without a cost. This is more restrictive and lowers your attack. And I guess the only benefit is hitting over 2 of your opponent's monsters. But it's only your elemental hero monsters. So what are you using this on? Blade Edge? Bringing it down to 1250 attack? That's not very good. Jaden cannot catch a break with his support. It is like all hit and miss. Bad. Even if this was just any monster, having the attack, giving you an extra attack, I don't think it'd be particularly good. I guess when we compare it to something like Exarion Universe, it's not very charitable. A real hero halves his attack before fighting all out. Yes. Artwork's real cool, though. I like how he broke his sword and then hits him twice. That's cool. Next up, Magnet Circle Level 2. Special summon one level 2 or lower machine type monster from your hand. This is a -1 for board presence. But it does enable a lot of things. And you can run this in conceivably a lot of different decks. For instance, I could see you running this in Speedroid. You can run it in Ancient Gear with the Ancient Gear. That's not particularly good. Anything that uses Machine Dupe, well, not anything that uses Machine Dupe. A lot of decks that use Machine Dupe might want to run this card. But you gotta ask yourself, is it worth going -1 for your play starter or your combo extender? And I don't think in most cases it is. It definitely enables some gimmicks. It's sort of like, what is it, Seed of Deception? I'm so hesitant. I feel like this card has been used to great effect somewhere, but I don't know when. Next up, Ancient Gear Factory. And I want to point out something weird, that this card hasn't had a reprint since the machine structure deck that it came out in. Or I guess it comes out in Shadow of Infinity, but then it gets the reprint in the machine structure deck. This is the most recent version of the card. From optimizing everything, even in Morptronic, this wouldn't be very good. Oh, that's an indictment. But yeah, Ancient Gear Factory hasn't had a reprint. Probably needs one. Normal spell, reveal one level 5 or higher Ancient Gear monster from your hand. Then banish a number of Ancient Gear monsters from your graveyard whose combined level are double the revealed monsters, and if you do, normal summon the revealed monster this turn. You must normal summon it without tributing. Somehow, they misspelled the word summon, even though they spelled it correctly in this previous sentence. So it really reads, you must normal spawn it without tributing. I think this card's weird. I think I understand the idea that Ancient Gears are incredibly slow. You got big machine monsters, banishing them, but it doesn't even give you an extra normal summon. It doesn't hit on the core problem of Ancient Gears. You have to go insanely minus on this. I don't know if you go insanely minus. It depends on how important cards in the graveyard are to your deck. For some decks, cards in the graveyard don't really matter. I like the idea. I don't like the execution. I think we just wait till Gear Town before we get a decent Ancient Gear support card. Outside of Drill and maybe Castle? I think the card's just bad. This card has problem-causing card text. I like it. I really think this card needs some cleaning up, though. Reprint, please. Next up, Ancient Gear Drill. Normal spell, if you control an Ancient Gear monster, discard one card. Set one spell card directly from your deck. This turn, that spell cannot be activated. And of course, you really want to bring out some important things. You want to bring out your limiter removal, your future fusion, your overload fusion. This card sort of feels like Left Arm Offering, but inherently more balanced, because Left Arm Offering is a Hail Mary, put it all on red, make a big bet. I think Gear Drill requires a specific monster on field, or at least an archetype monster on field, so you're not splashing it in everything. Still has a discard cost, and doesn't allow you to do anything with it that turn. It's a very balanced card, I think. But still, one of the very few universal spell searchers we even have in the game. Finally, I can summon the unstoppable Ancient Gear Golem. What's a Torrential Tribute? Ancient Gear Drill, the prototype Triple Tactics Trust. I actually think that this card might have been too strong for the era in which it was released. Specifically in the deck that it was released. Like, Ancient Gears get one really good support card. One really okay support card. Next up, Phantasmal Martyrs. Normal spell, while you have at least 2 other cards in your hand and control Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, or Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder, send your entire hand to the graveyard. Special summon 3 Phantasmal Martyr tokens. Fiend, Dark, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense, in attack position. Hey, it's not once per turn. It's just all in. The confusing part to me, though, is you set up to summon Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, right? But this card sends your whole hand to the graveyard. So where are you going to summon it from? How are you going to get it back to your hand? Are you hoping to Destiny draw it next round or something? I feel like maybe this is a stretch, but if this card then added Raviel to your hand from your deck after you've already sent your hand to the graveyard, after you've done all the investment, I don't think it would be broken, and I think the card would make a lot more sense. But right now, it reads okay. 3 tokens, and it only cost me 3 cards. That's a pretty steep cost. I think we're just gonna put it in bad, except it's completely unusable, so maybe very bad. Next up, Cyclone Boomerang. Equip spell. Equip only to Elemental Hero Wildheart. It gains 500 attack. When the equipped monster is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, destroy all spell and traps on the field, then inflict 100 damage to the opponent for each spell or trap destroyed by this card's effect. I mean, you get a little bit of a rebate. This is Harpy's Feather Duster? No, it's not. It's Heavy Storm with a little bit of burn damage. That's really slow and requires Wild Heart specifically. And then the Wild Heart has to be destroyed specifically by a card effect. Which is a little bit harder than normal, because you think about it, and like, Wild Heart's immune to Sakuretsu Armor and Torrential Tribute and Trap Hole and a whole bunch of other cards. So Cyclone Boomerang might be a little bit more difficult to activate than it looks. Where is Hero Heart? We're going to put it right next to Hero Heart. We'll even bump down Excelsion to put it next to Hero Heart. Jaden, your cards are just too situational. If this were to any elemental hero as an equip spell, I can actually see it being okay. Give you a little bit of spell and trap removal in the deck. It's just too limited in my opinion. Even though Wild Heart is completely playable at this point. How does Jaden win? That is an excellent question. Coming from Yugi of all people. I think plot armor has a lot to deal with it. Next up, Symbol of Heritage. Equip spell. Activate only while there are 3 monster cards with the same name in your graveyard. Select one of those monsters, special summon it, and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. Hey, it's got the premature burial problem, where if this card leaves the field, nothing happens to the monster. So, this card has a really obvious application, and that's with Lone Fire Blossom, where you Lone Fire, Lone Fire, Lone Fire, symbol of heritage, bring out your Lone Fire, extend from there. There's some other cards that you can do it with, like Balbaboon, sort of works. Think cards that float into themselves. Maybe Tengu. This is one of those collect 'em all cards that I don't think is good, but I've definitely seen it have at least gimmick success. The first collect them all card that's not only playable but good. I don't know about good. You can bounce this and loop it since it's a spell, not a trap, so you can activate it in the same turn. How are you bouncing it, though? I get maybe Zephyros the Elite can bounce it, but symbol was limited for a while, wasn't it? Yep. I want to keep it in gimmick. It's got a definite use case, which is a lot better than a lot of the other cards we've had so far. Next up, Trial of the Princesses. Equip spell. Equip only to White Magician Peruku or Ebon Magician Kuran. It gains 800 attack. So, just for the record, they start with 1200 attack, bringing it up to 2000. That's the stat lineup of the princess version. During a turn that the equipped monster destroyed a level 5 or higher monster by battle, you contribute the equipped monster and this card to special summon from your hand or deck one Princess Peruku if you tributed White Magician Peruku, or one Princess Kuran if you tributed Ebon Magician Kuran. And here's the weird part about how the card works. Adds only 2000 attack, and it needs to destroy a level 5 or higher monster by battle. That's not enough attack. I feel like we can compare this to Axe of Despair or United We Stand or Mage Power. The rate, this card should give you way more attack. It should be like Buster Rancher or Rampart of Battle Smashing. Ballista of Rampart Smashing, that's the card name. I think you're just way too weak to try to destroy a big monster. This is definitely an anime card, but the lore is cool. We'll put it between the princesses because they sort of share it. Next up, Photon Generator Unit. Quick play spell. That's a good start. Tribute 2 Cyber Dragons. Why does it gotta be 2? Special summon 1 Cyber Laser Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. At least it does from the graveyard too. Why is it 2? I feel like maybe it's just me, but in my mind, this was Tribute 1, bring out the Laser Dragon. And I think that would have been pretty okay. The Laser Dragon, quick play spell, dodge removal, give you some options, but it takes 2. Why does it take 2? Even if it took 1, that wouldn't be great, but why does it take 2? I am forever grateful that Konami never printed that orange thing as its own monster. Don't say that, they might still. Oh right, Sidra has main deck evolutions, yep. I think we're just gonna put it. The fact it's a quick play spell, it just takes 2. I guess their logic is since Laser Dragon is a level 7, it needs 2 tributes. Yugi, you're making sense, but I don't like it. just takes 2. Why does it take 2? Next up, End of the World. Ritual spell. This card is used to ritual summon Ruin Queen of Oblivion or Demise King of Armageddon. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. A little bit weird wording. You don't actually run this card. Maybe the best artwork out of the set? Okay. I can say it might be one of the best artwork in the set. The colors are just beautiful. The whites, the blues. Incredible artwork. I agree. Everything's on fire, but they used cool colors so it doesn't look scary. Next up, Ancient Gear Castle. Continuous spell. All Ancient Gear monsters gain 300 attack. Each time a monster is normal summoned / set, put 1 counter on this card. If you tribute summon an Ancient Gear monster face up, you can tribute this card instead, if the number of counters is equal to or greater than the number of required tributes. This card's doing the same thing that, what was it? Ancient Gear Warehouse, I believe is the name of the card. Ancient Gear Factory. Warehouse is the other one. It's sort of addressing the Ancient Gear problem, giving them some tribute fodder. When we get Mausoleum of the Emperor, this card is severely outclassed. At least it gives you a little bit of attack points. Counter cards are a hard sell because it takes so long to accumulate counters, and this card is requiring your normal summon, so you're not really accumulating counters very fast. We do have Ultimate Offering in the game, so you could argue, oh, Ultimate Offering, get lots of normal summons, but then you're still tribute summoning. It's just not getting them off the ground fast enough. I feel like Ancient Gears are spinning their wheels. What is the purpose of the huge golden spike clogging up the castle entrance? Is that where you get the 300 attack points from? Yeah, it's weird. So like usually when you're breaking down a door, you get a big battering ram, but it's like they got the battering ram on the inside of the castle? It's a reverse battering ram. Thank you. Very weird card. Next up, Samsara. Continuous spell. Monster cards tributed for a ritual summon are returned to the owner's deck instead of being sent to the graveyard. When is this useful? For the record, Samsara is related to Rebirth. Like, the card makes sense what it does. It's just I don't understand when it's useful. If this card, returned them to your hand, that would be amazing. And you would definitely run this card in your ritual deck. In fact, the whole ritual mechanic might actually get off the ground at that point. I just don't understand when it's useful. The only counter deck I've ever found any success with was Endymion. When you want your deck to cosplay as Madolche? Not to be confused with Samsara Lotus. Oh yeah, Samsara Lotus, fantastic card. Broken card. Maybe the whole castle moves in Ancient Gear Castle. Oh. If it was hand, it would be busted. I agree. You could infinitely fuel things like megaliths. Oh, that's true, but I meant in this era of the game, it wouldn't be too crazy. Rituals need a lot of help still. I just can't see it being useful. It breaks your Doomdozer combo because you need them in the graveyard for that. Next up, Super Junior Confrontation. Normal trap. Activate only when an opponent's monster declares an attack. negate the battle, and one monster with the lowest attack and face-up attack position your opponent controls battles against one monster with the lowest defense and face-up defense position you control. After that battle, in the battle phase. Why does this card have so many words? I think this card is clearly outclassed by Negate Attack, Wabaku, Threatening Roar. It's a goading effect, so possibly it's even outclassed by Shift, where you can just change your opponent's attack targets, or Patrician of Darkness, or a lot of other cards. I just don't see it being useful. Next up, Miracle Kids. Normal trap, target one monster your opponent controls. That target loses 400 attack for each hero kid in your graveyard until the end phase. Why? If I'm collecting my hero kids, yeah, they'll end up in the graveyard because I'm going to special summon a whole bunch of them, but this card does almost nothing. We get a significantly better version of this card when we get Dark World Shackles, which just gives it 0 attack or sets its attack to 0. This card drains for at most 1200 attack in the ideal situation on a trap, and it's slow. And I just want to point out, we're not quite there yet, but we get Shrink in this video. It's the last card in the set. It's our Shonen Jump Championship promo card, but man, this card is not Shrink. It is definitely very bad. Even Skull Dice is better than this card, I think. Next up, Attack Reflector Unit. Tribute 1 Cyber Dragon. Yay, this one only does 1. Special summon 1 Cyber Barrier Dragon from your hand or deck. Strangely not from your graveyard, even though the Photon Generator unit was from your graveyard. I don't know why the cards don't match. I don't know why this card's not a quick play spell. I don't think it'd be good as a quick play spell, but it'd be more useful at least. Cyber Dragon's not quite good yet. Next up, Damage Condenser. When you take battle damage, discard 1 card. Special summon 1 monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the battle damage you took in attack position. Interesting. This is a universal searcher, but not really. It does take a card from your hand, which is not great. But it doesn't have to be a direct attack. You could, special summon a 0 attack monster directly from your deck if in the right circumstance. Hey, never knew Condenser was this old, yeah? I think Damage Equals Reptile is a better version of this card. Sorta. It's universal, though. I like this card. Really good on release, in my opinion? Okay, I can agree with that. It's the discard cost that really bugs me, though. I mean, it's a good search card, though. Next up, Karma Cut. Normal trap, discard 1 card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Banish that target, then banish all cards with the same name as that monster from your opponent's graveyard. So, Karma Cut was definitely playable, even meta at one point. This card's sort of like Dark Core, but it's on trap card. It's got the same discard cost, but it does have a side benefit too. If it didn't target, it would still be worth considering today, even on a trap card. This is more DD Warrior Lady lore. I really don't know what she's doing. Looks like a mummy or something. I'm not sure what card that is. But yeah, this card was completely playable for a lot of time in the game. You run this card in addition or sort of around the same time that you run Dimensional Prison and Phoenix Wing Windblast. Ring of Destruction, they all sort of do the same thing. DD Warrior Lady is being sucked into the different dimension. Yeah. Or maybe this is back when she's Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, and this is the point where she becomes DD Warrior Lady. Because she's not wearing the black outfit. It's weirdly strung through the era. I think it's completely balanced. Next up, Next to be Lost. Normal Trap. Select one face-up monster you control. Send one card from the deck to the graveyard with the same name as the selected card. So here is your big enabler, sort of, except some of them only work when you normal summon them. So this doesn't even work correctly with Excelsior or Disciple of the Forbidden Spell, because those aren't continuous effects, those are on summon effects. I think this is just bad Foolish Burial. It's not that bad. The next card, sort of same theme. Generation Shift, Normal Trap. Target one face-up monster you control, destroy that target, then add one card with the same name as the destroyed card from your deck to your hand. Generation Shift, actually very playable. You can play this card specifically in Fire Kings as the only application I've seen, but it's a pretty good application. You also played it when Supply Squad was a good card. Just another way to destroy your monsters. Speed it through your deck a little bit. Trigger your Barongs and your Sacred Phoenix, High Avatar Garunix. Trigger a lot of things with Generation Shift. Is this Nimble Tech? Probably not. Oh, I guess Next to be Lost could be Nimble with your Sunfish or something. Nice art, reminds you of an old painting. Interesting. Next up, Full Salvo. And I have no idea why the artwork was changed. They sort of look like, I don't know, bonsai bills now, instead of just being blue. Next to be Lost is set up for the third collection monster, not even the second. Okay card. I think Generation Shift pretty okay. Full Salvo though. Normal Trap. When this card resolves, send your entire hand to the graveyard. Great start. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card you sent to the graveyard by this effect. Man. Where is Phantasmal Martyrs? Because this card goes right next to that one. It's just burning card advantage for not a good reason. This might be one of the worst cards ever printed. Full hand discard for 1000 damage. Well, if you compare it to Final Destiny, the card where you discard 5 cards and it just wipes both players' boards. Guarded Treasure can be sort of that way, where it just discards your whole hand. A whole 200 Ukaze quaking in his boots. Yeah. I guess this card could even be worse than Sparks if you don't have a hand. Or actually, this is worse than Sparks if they have Macrocosmos out on the field. This gets hard countered by Macrocosmos. But it could be the finishing move. No? Next up, success probability 0%. I just love the lore. So we got a magical scientist, and he's got a framed picture of Kozaki on his desk because they're best friends. That's fantastic. But what does the card do? Normal Trap, send 2 random fusion monsters from your opponent's extra deck to the graveyard. I do not think that you can use this card and then look at your opponent's extra deck to confirm that they have or don't have fusion monsters. I think theoretically this could be decent disruption in the right matchup, maybe. I don't know. It's a trap. It's too slow. Not up to a great start. Now that's just wholesome. Yeah. I really like the story of magical scientist Kozaki, Dr. Frankenderp. They have fun together. Next card, I pulled this card on release, and I still don't understand the artwork. It's got the big crab things, and they're eating a smaller big crab thing? Is that what it is? So option is a Gradius thing. This is a reference to Gradius, and Gradius gets an option, and it's like a little ship that orbits your ship and fires with you. I guess I just don't get the reference. Okay, normal trap. Activate only when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Gain life points equal to the original attack of the destroyed monster. I feel like this card is worse than Mystic Walk. It's sort of like Mystic Walk. I think it's worse than Draining Shield and Enchanted Javelin and a whole bunch of other cards. This is a pure life point gain card, but it's also super conditional. Shadow of Infinity. Highs and lows, man. Next up, Goblin Out of the Frying Pan. Counter trap. Pay 500 life points. Negate the activation of a spell card and return it to the owner's hand. Think about this for a second. You're negating their spell card. It goes back to their hand. What is the next thing they are going to do? They are going to activate the exact same spell card like nothing happened. I think there are niche applications for this. Like if they're running a quick play spell during your turn, maybe you could argue that this is a better counter. I just don't like the idea of your counter trap giving your opponent back the resource. In counter fairies specifically, this card's a little bit better because it's not just a -1. You're triggering your Bountiful Artemis or one of the other beneficial cards. But I still think you're better off running a lot of different Spell Shield type 8, Magic Jammer. There's a lot of different cards that you could be running to negate your opponent's spells that balance out a lot better. Ooh, more Goblin Lore too. And it's the worst card yet. I agree. Unless it had a hard once per turn on the activation, it does nothing. Yep. It's like Malfunction, though Malfunction is better. Oh yeah, Malfunction's the next card in the set, by the way. When you don't want to let your opponents, when you don't want your younger siblings have your Magic Drains. Oh man, Magic Drain's actually a really good card because Magic Drain is 1-for-1. Either you negate their card or you take a spell out of their hand. Either way, that's pretty high value play. Set's a little bottom heavy, I'd say. Next up, Malfunction, as previously mentioned. Counter trap. Pay 500 life points, negate the activation of trap card, and return it to its original position. We got Trap Jammer, which most of the time does something similar, but we have a better option. 7 Tools of the Bandit. It costs 500 more life points, but it doesn't give your opponent back the resource. This card's just way worse than 7 Tools of the Bandit. I don't understand when Malfunction is useful. I get that because it's a trap card and it's being activated, it usually has specific timing. And this would cause it to not be able to be activated from that same event. You malfunction on their Torrential Tribute, you're probably gonna get your monsters to survive. Plus, you've gained a little bit of information, but I just don't think it's worth the -1. Just run 7 tools. We are moving now into, what is it? The promos from the Duelist pack with Blockman. So, look familiar? This card's not Block Dragon for the record. But I think they are related. Earth Attribute, level 4, Rock effect. You contribute this card, special summon in defense position a number of block tokens, Rock type, Earth, level 4, attack 1000, defense 1500, equal to the number of turns this card has been face up on the field. These tokens cannot declare an attack. 1000 attack, 1500 defense. So it's just the number of turns this card has been face up on the field. I wonder if you can bring this out during your opponent's turn with like a giant rat, and then that counts as a turn, and then it gets to your turn, and then you could possibly have 2 tokens and you contribute them. I just don't see the use case for this card. Lego Lawsuit Lore. I think Konami kind of put themselves in a corner where they wanted to have modern cards that negated, but they didn't want to reprint the same effects, so they had to make good cards worse. Well, we get Retort later. Retort's a pretty good counter trap. Realistically, you're maybe getting 3 with Swords Up, but that's a very slow token generator. Yeah. We got, I'm trying to think what we got. I don't know. I think we're just going to put it in bad. That's cute. He falls apart into tokens. It'd be better if he split his levels into tokens. Then you could do ritual and synchro stuff. That would be crazy. If you could get like 4 little monsters off of Blockman, that'd be great. Next up, Treasure Map. Normal trap. You can only activate this card in response to the activation of an effect that would return this card from the field to the hand. So when is that going to happen? Giant Trinade, I guess? Draw 2 cards from your deck, and then discard 1 card from your hand. I don't understand this effect. So you're activating Treasure Map off of a Giant Trinade, for instance. Giant Trinade would... This card would resolve first. You'd get the effect. You draw the 2 cards and send 1. And then the treasure map gets bounced back to your hand. So you've gone +2 off of it. It's just such a narrow window. It reads like it's okay draw support, but I just don't think that this situation is going to happen naturally. Next up, Hero Spirit. Normal trap. During the battle phase, if an elemental hero monster you control was destroyed by battle this turn, make the battle damage from one of your opponent's monsters 0. Why? Why is this so narrow? Why is Jaden's deck full of cards like this? Like Hero Barrier and now Hero Spirit. These cards do roughly the same thing and aren't very good. Jaden, I don't understand. Does it not go to the grave after resolving before Trinade resolves? The flavor isn't clear. You aren't following a map. Your opponent trips over the chest and it opens for you. It's the worst version of Waking the Dragons. I agree with that. Next up, Skelingal? Skelingal. So this card is really old. So I want to put that in context. This card took, I want to say that this card's from 1999 or 2000. This is one of the first effect monsters printed in the OCG. It just took a really long time to get to the TCG. So, in terms of effect, I feel like if this card were legal in GOAT, like it should be, it'd be a bit more favorable, but right now it's eh. Light attribute, level 2, fairy flip effect, flip, draw 1 card, 900 attack, 400 defense. It's interesting censorship too. They took away the halo and replaced it with a crown. I actually like the crown better, but they didn't mess with the angel's wings and kept it. And it's this card's just so weird looking. Like it's got normal feet and then it's got gloves. What part of this is a skeleton? Why is the only visible part of its body its feet? It's got gloves too. There were 1,000 times during GX where Threatening Roar could replace any given anime-only battle trick. So I assumed for the longest time that old GOAT players were dumb for not running this in a light target that's copies 4 through 6 of Dikoichi, and never knew it got delayed. Skelingal is a worse version of Dikoichi. Not in the OCG, it came out first, but I think it's a little disappointing. Possibly even a worse version of Des Lacuda, but I like that card more than I think. I really wish this card came out earlier. I'm just gonna put in filler. We're getting to the point where flip effects... We're in a grindy format right now in 2006, for the record. But flip effects are starting to lose their luster. Next up, Mesmeric Control. So we had Change of Heart, we had Mind Control, we had Brain Control. New control card. This one's got to be good, right? Normal spell. Your opponent cannot change the battle position of monsters during their next turn. This card does nothing. I guess it hard counters Morphtronics and Karakuri. I can't say that honestly. Do like the artwork, yeah. Artwork's great. Just wish this card did something. Potentially, if you got to change the battle position of cards on your opponent's side of the field, then they couldn't change it back, so it'd be a little bit different than Windstorm of Etiqua. The card would be pretty interesting. I don't think it'd be great, but I think it'd be more useful. Next up, Magical Arm Shield. Hey, that's sort of how we started the stream, with Mystic Lamp. Normal Trap. When your opponent declares an attack while you control a monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls except the attacking monster. Take control of that target until the end of the battle phase, and if you do, it is attacked instead and you proceed to damage calculation. When is this better than Magic Cylinder? Well, maybe when you want your opponent to destroy their own monster, but then you'd still take the damage. It's better than Shift, I'd say that. You can go 1-for-1 with this. We get a different card called Memory of an Adversary later, and that card just outclasses this in my opinion. We also get another card, Roulette Spider, much later, and this card outclasses Roulette Spider. That card is really bad. I think this one's just filler. Before Gores, this is how you punished attacking in the wrong order. Interesting. Next up, Garma Sword. Dark Attribute, level 7, Warrior Ritual. This monster can only be ritual summoned with the ritual spell card Garma Sword Oath. 2550 attack, 2150 defense. We're moving into the tournament cards. This is Tournament Pack 8. Its ritual spell is Garma Sword Oath. Ritual spell. This card is used to ritual summon Garma Sword. You must also tribute monsters whose total level equals 7 or more from your hand or field. I think at this point we can just say, compared to the other rituals, you could get a monster with an effect. The artwork is very scary on the Oath or on Garma Sword. I guess they're both pretty scary. It's good artwork. These cards came out way, way, way earlier in the OCG. Like, the OCG just got waves of ritual monsters back when effect monsters were rare, and I'm not saying that they were better by comparison, but I think the tournament packs come off really weak because they're full of normal monsters and then non-effect ritual monsters. And then occasionally they get an amazing card like Torrential Tribute. I don't know. Next up, Gatekeeper. Dark Attribute, level 5, machine normal, an indestructible mechanoid. Mechanoid. An indestructible mechanoid created for the sole purpose of destroying... Hold on, I cannot read. An indestructible mechanoid created for the sole purpose of guarding the gateways. 1500 attack, 1800 defense. I think we're just gonna put it in very bad. I love Behegon's artwork. This has got to be one of my favorite monsters in the game. And it just feels like an old school Yu-Gi-Oh monster in the best way. Gotta be one of my favorite artworks. I miss when cards were Nightmare Fuel. Water Attribute, level 4, Aqua. With an enormous maw and massive teeth, this monstrosity is one dangerous and strange serpent from the deep. 1350, 1000 defense. Where is the Behegon lore? Not very good at guarding with 1800 defense. Oh, he has the key to the city, though. Where is the Behegon lore? The grossest little fella. Truly a classic. I don't think you use it for anything. I'm trying to think if you ever need like a level 4 aqua water monster specifically for Rescue Rabbit. Can't wait to roll up and to the locals in the Behegon card sleeves. I think I unironically would buy those. Next up, Violent Rain. Water Attribute, level 4, Aqua. This monster can call forth sudden torrents of battering rain. 1550 attack, 800 defense. Put it next to the Behegon. Very weird name. Violent Rain. Ooh. I love this card's artwork too. I don't think it quite makes sense as a monster. I think if this were a field spell, it'd make more sense, but the artwork's not bad. Temple of Skulls. Dark Attribute, level 4, Zombie. A mysterious temple of skulls and bones that pulls in unsuspecting enemies. 900 attack, 1300 defense. We already power crept Behegon? Yeah. Not Cloudian lore. Is Violent Rain a Cloudian monster? I guess it could be. Why don't Cloudians get a Rescue Rabbit target? Actually, they do. They get a Smoke Ball. Never mind. I think Violent Rain has a counterpart too. Next up, Blocker. So this card sort of looks like Mechanical Chaser, but different. I know that Blocker has niche application. Dark attribute, level 4, machine constructed from several components. This monster can launch them in a pincer attack. 850 attack, 1800 defense. All these normal monsters just released a little bit too late. They could retrain Violent Rain to be a Cloudian. You never know. Next up, oh man, I'm seeing double. This guy looks super familiar, right? Well, this is a Karibo counterpart. A whole bunch of early cards in the game had like 2 different artworks, but were the same idea. I don't know why they're made like this. It's not like they took one artwork and then just messed with the colors, like, you know, recoloring monsters in an RPG. You know, Konami doing that with Symphony of the Night, changing the color of the skeletons and calling them something else. But this one has a completely different artwork than Karibo. Yo, is that Memento Gatic? Yes, it is. Wretched Ghost of the Attic. Dark attribute, level 2, Fiend. A harmless monster found lurking in just about any attic. 550 attack, 400 defense. It's just not Karibo. It is funny that this card got a retrain, though. I like this card a lot, too. Sectarian of Secrets. Dark attribute, level 2, Spellcaster. This wizard worships the darkness and is served by a sinister hand that drags its enemies into oblivion. 700 attack, 500 defense. I look at this artwork a long time to try to figure it out. And like, that hand cannot come from his shoulders. But then you read the card text and it makes sense why it's there. Wretched Ghost has Pac-Man eyes. Yeah. Karibo's less popular cousin. Oh, yeah. I like Sectarian of the Secrets. Next up, Necrolancer the Time Lord. Not to be confused with the Time Lords that we actually get much later in the game. I don't think that this is part of the archetype. Dark attribute, level 3, Spellcaster. The one-eyed Necrolancer launches his onslaught from a dimensional ring that can appear out of thin air. 800 attack, 900 defense. I like this card too. Okay, we're moving on to our Hobby League promo. So I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Warrior Elimination, Acid Rain, Last Day of Witch, that there's a whole bunch of these cards that were released. Optimizing everything. Time Lord lore? Yeah? Can he count as a Time Lord? I don't know what his Japanese name is. So he may or may not. We could check. Okay. So, Japanese translated name should translate to Time Gen. So I guess it's part of the Gen archetype? Not the Time Lord archetype? No relation to the Time Lord archetype that was released after it, neither by Japanese name or by overall theme. So nope, it's not a real Time Lord. I just think it's so funny. So the next structure deck that's released is the Invincible Fortress, the amazing structure deck that's got Exod on the front with the mind-bendingly interesting strategy of having your opponent attack into your walls. They thought that that deck was so strong that this, out of all time, is when they should release the Breath of Light. Normal spell, destroy all face-up rock-type monsters in the field. Hey, it's Temperature of Ray and Temperature Flame. He's doing the iconic kill all rock monsters instantly attack. Yeah. We gotta check that Invincible Fortress deck. I don't know if you would ever consider side decking this. Like, I can easily see you side decking Acid Rain, although it gets power crept by System Down. I can see you side decking Warrior Elimination and Last Day of Witch, because those are pretty popular types. I will side this against Adamantipator for the psychic damage. Okay. I just don't see the niche application for it. There were rock decks historically. Maybe against Rock Stun, Adamantipator again. I don't know. I like that it exists. I honestly think that Eradicating Aerosol's better, though. And finally, last card for the video, our Shonen Jump promo. Keep in mind, we get some really good cards from Shonen Jump promos. Last time we got Cyberstein, for instance. Now we get Shrink. Quick play spell. Target one face-up monster on the field. Its original attack becomes halved until the end of this turn. Also, the official artwork on the website, a little bit weird, but I like how it's slightly more detailed. Shrink has always been weird to me that they have a filter on the goblin and it doesn't look as detailed in the background. This also feels like a goat card. Shrink feels so much older than it actually is. Oh. Interesting. Shrink is interesting for a lot of reasons. I think we get Gale in a few years, and Gale sort of does this. It's a interesting combat trick, though. Get over a monster. Maybe get in for damage that you weren't going to otherwise. This card saw play. In hindsight, I'm not sure it's great. I guess you could possibly get out of a trap hole with this card by shrinking. That's not that bad. I would have expected Shrink to come in the same set as Megamorph or something. That'd be good lore. Good at the time. It wasn't just good at the time. People were playing this in meta decks. But I think it's one of those times where, why were they doing it? This card is not quite Forbidden Lance, but people used it like Lance. Like, sometimes you're using Lance just to decrease the opponent's attack so you can hit over it in battle. What? That's the list. Nothing worth considering today, unfortunately. Why are you not? Let me click. Oh no. Too many characters. Okay. And that's it for the list. We save, we download. What's the next set? It's not Enemy of Justice. At least next set we got some more interesting cards to play with. But good night, everyone. Thank you for showing up, optimizing everything. Next stream is going to be Thursday of next week. Hopefully at the same time. But till then, good night.